What do you mean first? That's again. I still have no light. Goddamn, Chris. Hi, welcome in. How's the day going? Also, confettis. Good job. Good job as well. Good job as well. I mean, maybe. Not if I will do that, but fine. I mean, the Discord notification is uh, halfway manual, so I know who Barry Allen is. Cybersect, hi, I have questions for you, Cybersect. Good morning, Cat, as well. Welcome on in. That song is really, really, really slow compared to the previous one. You shared, Cybersect, you shared something in the experiments channels. Channels, there is just one. And I kind of want to take a look at it. Here, that's it. No, no, I'm naked. I am fully naked, Dan. Yes, yes, fully naked. No, it's a grey one. It looks like it's skin tone. I know. I'm pale as fuck. It makes sense. Makes sense. I know. I know. You shared this, which is pretty interesting. Overall, it has like this background thing that you said you wanted to like kind of explore different backgrounds and different effects. And it's interesting. I would need a bit more background on the app and the concept to make sure that I do understand what it is, but I don't think I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's great either. I I I fear that the realistic side of it being like mostly images might be detrimental to everything. Survival. Hi, welcome on it. So it's pretty nice. I like the idea. I like the concept. Again, I feel like it would be more beneficial for you to have something that is more aligned with the rest of the app. And also, Kat, I just saw that you went on a run. No, no, that is not a thing. We don't run. No, no. So what I'm thinking, based on here specifically, based on the fact that they have some sort of a geometric background, potentially getting something like a sacred geometry that is similar, um, could match. But you say that the idea, the contrast between realism and everything else. Well, therefore, it works. Ah. Yeah, Cat, do astronaut workouts, if you know what that is. I don't think you can. Uh, yeah, I mean, if that's the point, having like realism and non-realism clash together and have like a big ass contrast, then yeah. Um, it works. Like nothing to say there. It's just really striking that there is only that. Like that's the only thing that is realistic in the background. But yeah, I would need like more context on that to make sure that I have a greater um understanding of what it is. So, Cat, back here. Astronaut workouts, which are one of my favorite thing, you just do things at 0.25 speed. If you need to do push-ups, you do them as slow as you can. You need to do but you do them as slow as you can. And you need to be in a very, 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 very low gravity mindset to do these things. And it burns. Like it might be boring, but it will make you do your workout in no time. Pretty good. Personally speaking, I like him. Be nice. Be nice. Um, I mean, I feel like it's to the extent that you have right now, I feel like it's good enough in terms of visibility. It's just a hint. The fact that all of the full screen that you have shared are the exact same, except the color, I don't know. Um, like the pineapple being pink, bitch, being yellow, and the beetle being green, and so on. That makes sense, right? It's just it's the color that matches the element that you have in the background. But um, yeah, I feel like something else would make more sense. It is really jarring to me to have like that much contrast in between extremely realistic things and the flattest UI as you can. However, not saying that it's not an option. If you think of any heads-up display, it's basically what happens. You have the pass-through, which is a camera that is displaying whatever is in front of you, which is the most realistic things. And then you have flat UI that is wrapping around the face. But, that's not a HUD. I don't, I don't know. Um, yes, 100% can. Did I not do that? I did not do that. That is true. That is true. Forgot to press one button. Good job, me. Good job, me. But yeah, overall it's pretty nice. I don't really know how how the app works, what it is, what it's supposed to do, and all of that. I do like some of the simplistic navigation, if these are navigations. I think that is really nice. Think about the space at the bottom. If this is an Android app, that might work, but you might think about the navigation thing at the bottom. If it's like an iOS app, like as I can see right here, there is the navigation bar. There might need to be a teeny tiny bit more of like space above, saying it was the previous video. Oh, this one was pretty nice as well. As far as I remember.
Jan Lunge just resubscribed for 13 months.
Why? Thanks a lot for the resub. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I didn't make the connection between that video that you said you shared earlier and the background. That's bad for me. That's bad for me. Um, I like it, but you know what? I like it like that. I like it with no background at all. Um, I need so much more context, to be honest. Like, does the background change based on the score? Does the background change just for the sake of changing? Is it the settings that the user can define, like they want the thing to be pink or purple, and that way it's in the settings? Is it something else? I don't really know. If it's something like linked to the level at which you are reaching, maybe you could have some sort of a flash background thing that change while the game is playing. Like if it's pineapple up to 10, and then past 10, it's from 10 to 35, for example, is something else. I don't know. That could be something interesting as well. But also, yeah, like, thanks a lot for the resub. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Welcome on in. Good day. I hope you're good. But these would be just skins. If they are just skins, then I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say it. It's gonna sound bad, but I'm gonna say it. Right now, it looks lazy. As, oh yeah, shit, I need skins. Images. There. Skins. Like, that's how it feels. It doesn't really give me anything of skin. That like, ah yeah, good point. Like new stuff. The reason why I was saying earlier, like sacred geometry would be really good is mainly because of this one, because this is really, really, really simple. Um, but then the pineapple is also really good for pattern recognition and pattern creation. And the beetle itself, if you can patternize it, I know it sounds weird, it would be really good as well. Like it could work. Let me see if I can just find it or find one really quickly. That song is shit every time. That is good. That one is annoying. Um, I doubt it. Yeah. So shit like this, as in a very line work for the background, could be a in my head good thing to have like a continuity of the background lines that you have, what with the beetle, but also like with any other thing. So if it's just a flower illustration, which is minimal, you will have like a ton of them. And the one specifically that you've taken as a base for the image is something that happens often and it is really common. Like these bitches right there are options, and you could use that as pattern um, in your, I don't even think minimal pattern is going to be a good idea, but you know what? Let's take a look. And that's, once again, bad. But yeah, shit like this could be an option as well. Just patterns for the geometry to basically follow through the rest of the app. I feel like it would be better. Personal take, again. You decide, but like right here, it really looks like a bit of a lazy thing. And going back to what Jan said, it I agree that it's not as satisfying as it could be. I don't know how much work and how much time passed on this to like judge the animation. Personally, I really like this look. Like that highlight on the edge, the smokiness ghosting thing that we have like right there is really good. I do agree that it's not necessarily making a lot of sense in terms of how it's vacuuming the balls. That is kinky as fuck. You know, it's yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I like it though. I like the design of the very, very minimal thing. And I feel like this is good enough. Yeah. Chris, hi. What morning? It is. It is pretty good. Also, good job on the confettis as well. You got confettis. That doesn't happen often. I mean, that happens sometimes, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Going back to what you said it was the simplest thing you could came up with. Fine. Get it? You wanted something to change. Good. But it's just like patterns. Uh, like very minimal patterns would be really, really simple to have in background just to create something that changes. And that would be even more easier, simpler to just put in place because there is like so many resources for patterns that you can just use. You can use it in a ended version or like very big so it doesn't really give you that noise, but you have still like a different background that change for something that is floral, something that is like mostly like wavy, whatever. You can do that. It's again, in my opinion, really lazy, but it would feel a bit more worked on for some reason. I don't know. I don't know. That's how my brain is telling me. Like shit like this or stuff like this one, for example, would be pretty simple to put in place, and the results would kind of help. The only thing that I would say, if it's just the background that changed, they're still extremely lazy. If the game reacts to the background, as in the balls, let's get the balls follow the lines of the patterns to an extent, like just unpredictable following off the trajectory, that would be pretty interesting. Um, but I don't know how easy or hard that would be. Um, yeah, like if you put something like this in the background that reacts to where the ball is, it's just like it's a follow through. Instead of being like cursor based, it's just there is a ball on the map, and therefore all of our tiny lines are just well attracted to the ball itself. So it's just a helper. It's not much, but it's something. I feel like that's a good something. I think. Like if I go on, I have doubts right now. I don't think this is turned on at that instant. Um, it is. Uh, that's gonna be, yeah, that's gonna be way too much. Let me do 5 questions instead. Come on, bitch. Like here, if I have my regular quiz and I do, um, let me not make a mistake. I mean, I can't make a mistake. Not make a mistake for the sake of here. Um, I have this pattern in the background, which is a pattern, right? It's the easiest bitch I can do, where everything is just little dots that shine here and there randomly. And if I made or had a perfect quiz, I'm getting them in green. And it doesn't change much, but it brings something to that screen specifically. I don't even think you can really see them on the stream. Like really, really bad. So specifically on YouTube, it looks like shit, but it's there. And if I were to have like making a mistake at some point in the quiz and then finishing the quiz if I can without making another mistake because I don't have any lives left, it's just going to take the theme color. So right now it's my theme is red, therefore it's a red activity. So you know, it's just randomized and it has a bit of a gradient fade at the top. And you could have that similarly to this one in terms of how it kind of looks for your patterns or your backgrounds to react to the activity. Our Tianlang said earlier that the satisfyingness, that's weird. The satisfiety, you get what I'm saying, could have an effect on when you absorb a ball. It's just like you have a bit of a ripple. It's the same thing that we have on wherever. Um, well, I think you need one good process. And to me, the best option would be procedural creation and generation of the backgrounds without you having to do anything. So you have like a system that is randomized that just generate backgrounds based on things, the time of day, the position of the user, the tilt of the phone when the game is started, shit that is random. And then you would get stuff auto-generated based on that. And you can have like, again, most of these patterns are extremely easy to put in place and would give you results that are really, really interesting. Like with the same concept of reacting to where the balls are and reacting to the grabbing a ball. That whole game is so kinky. Like that could probably do something and be automated so that you don't have to make one call. You just make the system that generate things procedurally and that you should be good. It's just like a matter of changing a value based on something else, which will never be the same. So the tilt of the phone is one of the easiest thing to put in place. I agree. I'm hair quoting this so much. But when you hold your phone, the point something degrees you have is probably never going to be the same. Like, probably never. So, again, if I'm going back here because that's the easiest thing I have, um, come on, bitch. Again? Why are you so slow? Like that coin, let me zoom in on it. That coin right now is flat because my phone is flat. The fact that if I tilt, it just moves. If you had something that says, if the phone is right here, when the game starts, this is a very specific background. If the phone is right here, it's something else. If it's right there, it's something else. If it's here, it's something else. And so you can have really with almost no time, something that will react 100% to the user's activity, and that the probability of being here or exactly the same angle twice when the user decides to tap on the start playing, I feel like that's unlikely. Like you have 360 degrees basically, or 180 if you want to just take half. But you know, like it works. That's all I'm saying. And it would be generated or like procedural so that you don't have to think about it too much. Um, that would be uh, you'd need to look into shaders and live music shaders, basically, because that's basically how it's. Did I say basically twice in a row? That's where you would have uh, like the most resources. There is a ton of things I forgot the fucking name of the software that I used when I was in school, which was for like audiovisual syncing things to have like automated stuff reacting to sound, but it was also working with depth and other activities. So there is like things I have Ableton in my head, but that's not it. It's not what I'm looking for. But yet these things exist, and you could have like something that would work. However, again, you just said cursor, you have a new task. I don't think cursor can help. I think cursor is too dumb right now to be able to figure out how to create patterns like this. I love cursor and Claude in general, but I don't think you'd have a good result. Yeah. I think it would be better if you potentially looked at forums about audiovisuals and DJ set, like backgrounds, activities, things. Probably these will probably give you like some sort of a blueprint for some of these things that will react to the user in the room, to the activity, to their placements, to other things, like shit like this. That's the stuff that I used to do when I was in school. And that 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 would work or be interesting, I think, to generate like a background. Like this is ASCII, which is different, like camera reacting, music reacting, event reacting, generation of sound art or other stuff. Could. Um, I mean, if there is music in the app, yes, 100%. Like you could have shit like this in the background. This is crazy, but you know, you could. You could 100% have these background effect thing that just react to like what's happening. This is crazy though, but yeah, why not? It's I really feel like there is a ton of options for procedural creation, and apparently this one is a bit of a website thing to help if it's sound based, music based. Napshi, hi, welcome on in. It's for some reason I knew it was you. I don't I don't know how. I don't know how. God damn. Oh, how are you? How's everything? Oh, oh. I need a I need to redo my entire wardrobe again. These t-shirts that used to be kind of loose on me are starting to be a bit tight, and I need to go one size up. Um, God damn, that's gonna be expensive again. It is. I mean, it's both, but um, it's a lot of things. It's really weird. It is really weird. It's the I feel like I'm in the expansion effect or the expansion zone, which is the moment where most of the like most of the fat cell that I have are currently filled up with water and will burst because there is no more fat to fill thing. I'm still fat. Air quote with that, I'm not, but it's still like mostly fat. So it's kind of sad, but like the arms and sides are less fat than before. Belly is still gonna be the same. That it's never gonna go away. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna need a new wardrobe again. It's gonna be crazy. All day. Sturdy. Hi, welcome in. So I guess, yeah, something that is created and generated like um, yeah, that things like this. I don't know what that is. I don't know who they are, what they do, but that's basically what I'm trying to. Yeah, that's the type of shit that I used to work with. Yeah, that 100%. Use that. Here is a reference. But yeah, these things is the thing that I used to do in school, where we had an event at the end of the year where we presented some of the creation of the students, and some of them had created things like this with uh, Kinect cameras from the Xbox. I think Kinect is the Xbox, or maybe it was Sony. I forgot, whichever, whatever. That they had depth and distance from the computer to the user, and we used that to generate processing of fabrics of things that would kind of helps. So this is pretty good. I guess in there you will probably have some basics processing and basics references, which is pretty good. And yeah, like that would be really, I feel like that would be really good for the event. I would say if, again, that is a generated background that you have that is generated on Play, which means that it is probably going to be like a different background every time. If you could implement, Cursor could implement an event-based wave or action that react to you got a point, something happened in the background. It changes one parameter. You got another point, it changes another parameter. And that might be like a multiplier that you have. So the more points you get, the crazier the background becomes, or the more intricate it becomes, or things that could happen. Um, to kind of hype the user into generating more interesting backgrounds. Could be something. Could be something. Yeah, I don't know. It's an ID. And there's so many. Yes. So generative art processing, you might have to look that up to find references. Most of them are flashy, so be ready. Like if you are seizure prone, make sure that that doesn't happen inside of um, the app. end the game. Make sure it's as simple and easy as it can be. Um, yeah, P5 is that's where we used to do everything. That's crazy. It still is there. Um, they have the full thing right there. That's crazy. Yeah, and that would be much simple. Rise Blender JS, After Effects JS. Good question. I'm divided in the sense that Rive would be really good to learn. Also, why the fuck am I not there? But um, you will have way less information um, in terms of how to learn. If you are currently like trying to learn, I would say After Effects and JS is the place where you would have the most data and the most learning uh, capabilities. However, it comes with a subscription of After Effects officially. Blender is free, and because it is open source, there is plenty of resources about it. So, um, I personally would go Blender, but that also because I have more knowledge on Blender. The thing is, you said that you wanted to, like, someone who wants to specialize in web and UI animation movements and effects. Right now, After Effects is going to be better for the content that is available, not for the pricing, nor for the tech. But the tutorials that you have on After Effects will give you done the uh, the foundation of what motion design is, how it works, what is the best thing to do, how to go from a static line to wobbly lines, whatever. After Effects being like one of the initial tools that do this is going to be better in terms of resources to give you the foundation. But something like um, not that, god damn it, every time, every fucking time. Jitter is After Effects, but in the browser is gonna be way easier, better for the long term compared to After Effects itself. So you have the ability to do so much things in there that is way more interesting and web ready than After Effects is. So I would 100% do that rather than in After Effects. But there will be way less data and knowledge um, resources to learn. So that's kind of the annoyance? Yes, annoyance of data. Great. It's a motion design tool, but it's just not used enough. To me, that's the issue. Like if it was used more, I would 100% recommend Jitter. But they don't have like enough content in there to learn everything you need to learn. No, Like that, there's 40 videos that's like one day, okay? Maybe two if you're like kind of lazy, but you just need to watch the entire thing, and then once you've watched the entire thing here, you probably know the tool. And then you just need to practice in there. So I think Rive is going to be really good, but it's the same thing that I was about to say a second ago. Did I read your message? My bad. I stopped my head. No, that's not even a day. I'm seeing the length of the videos right there. They are like 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Um, the longest one is like 5 minutes so far. Then yeah, no, that's 5 hours tops. Morton, hi, welcome on. So uh, my main issue with Rive, Jitter, Motion.io, all of these things, the resources that you have are going to give you how to use the tool, which is not what you care about. As someone that wants to learn how to do UI, motion design, interactions, you want to learn motion design. And that is technically tool agnostic, where you can learn that just by learning motion and not learning a specific tool. If you know a specific tool, then you are kind of left in that specific tool and you can't really go out. So that, to me, Rive is great, but most of the tutorials that we have are how to use Rive. Jitter is great, but it's how to use Jitter. After Effects is how to achieve that motion design thing in After Effects, and not necessarily how to use After Effects. It is mostly how to use After Effects, but it's been there for so long that now it's just how to go through um, the achieving of a specific take of motion design inside of a tool. It's a bit different. He wants to design some things or have a designer design something and then provide to him or collaboratively come up with an idea to bring it to life and make something that is okay, incredible, totally on UI and websites. You can't. If you want to focus solely on UI and websites, you can't go from okay to incredible. You need to like basically code the incredible. I know it's annoying. Um, but the micro interactions, like the way to implement things that are incredible are going to go from static page to maybe using 3JS for 3D transform of some stuff, or Line for some 3D interactions on the website, or Rive for tiny animations. The I'd say the not range, but like range of like if I had a timeline like that, and you're telling me that your okay is here and you want to go to incredible, I would argue that, god damn it, that's the wrong thing. Argue that incredible here and okay being here to just do that on type, so that's gonna be hard. Uh, right, if that's what you think is the distance, I'd argue that it's mostly this. Like an okay website today with nothing specifically like defined is already really, really good compared to what we were able to spin up 5 years ago. And so it's not like OK is in the middle of the range and incredible is around here. It's mostly like we are already really, really good. So to make it better, you add a teeny tiny thing as let's see if Watson is an option. Like what Oli shared last week, we have this cursor right here, which, well, zoomed in is kind of going to be really, really weird, but it has like this interesting overall behavior. It's not really good, but it's interesting and it changes. That might make the user feel like this is more polished. And then you have other things in there as the illustration makes it look polished and better potentially, or that last thing at the bottom, like these are really simple and basics, but they make the overall feel of the content a bit better by having uniformity and homogeneity on the website itself. So it's mostly like an understanding pattern, like that there is two colors on that website, there is nothing else. It always is that orange and that black or white. Everything is like a very, very thin line for separations. All of that makes sense, at least to me, but it's a matter of taste, which you can't. It's not technology bound, if that makes sense. So I would say JS is going to be a must-have, at least for understanding. But going back to what we were saying with Cybersect earlier, the E5JS, which is a specific editor for motion or audio-bound motion thing, I it either helps, and it's not necessarily JavaScript. I mean, the EP5 is, but again, taste is something that is acquired and not learned. It sounds weird, I know. But yeah, taste only happen when you have practiced a certain amount of time and then you recognize that this is something that you like. Then you can apply these to other elements. But yeah. Isn't it the same tweet 3 times? Oh yeah, these. Yes. So this is Blender. This is impractical. This is only there for illustration's sake and will never be good on a website, if it's a website. In a game, yes, why not? If he wants to go for games, Blender is going to be really good. But like most of the things that we've seen in the past from that person specifically have been really, really good. The thing that I do like about it is that if you go back far enough in the feed, you will see some of the first thing that they have created, which to them today might be shit. And I like that. I like to be able to go back to the beginning. So if you have the time, do that. Go back on this feed specifically, or the feed of other people that are doing the same thing, because there is plenty, and just scroll as far as you can to reach the as beginning as you can again of their 3D experiment. And that was their first thing that they have created right here. Then you have the second one. They already have a good understanding of 3D and rendering, and there is probably more content underneath that just can't be loaded right now. But that is what you need to aim for, I would say, rather than aiming directly for the top section. Like, this is extremely simple. This is really good already. Um, I think it's the same thing that I did when I started on my side for kind of creating 3D stuff. I don't have much on this account that showcase the beginning, but like around here, like I did this in Figma and then was like, you know what, I'm gonna take a look at 3D because I'm doing 3D stuff. And the only thing that I was trying to understand is or was textures. I want to know how to create things that make a lot of sense and that are as realistic texture wise as possible. I did these things with glass because glass is the most annoyance that exists, but also this one specifically has a bit of a focus range where I'm focusing on this thing and then I'm focusing on this thing, just to play with the distance. And that was kind of fun, and then I had a bit of a fun with my logo and see how things look through like a blurred element. But this again was mostly playing and taking the time to understand textures and materials, to see if I could understand and make something more realistic. The Blender is a good option for that because that's what makes 3D rendering better, is how you can play with material. And when I'm saying better, I'm not saying like it needs to be as realistic as it needs to be. I'm saying is if you know how to create something that is shader bound, like cell shader, like Borderland video game effect type of thing, it's also really interesting to know that it can be made in Blender. So I yeah, they still use Maya. It's just it's more expensive and it's way too complex to figure out in the beginning. So most people are not going to use that by default. But if you're trying to learn, Blender is going to be much better. The one of the other reasons why people are not using Maya as a base is because it is so expensive and annoying to access and get that there is not as many tutorials on it. So the amount of resources that you have on Blender is mostly around here. The amount of resources on Maya is probably there. So Blender is way higher. It's the same thing with like Houdini. Houdini is so expensive, but it is so good that people are willing to pay just because it's so good. Like, yeah, I get it. Like these again, like the render here are just looking like shit because I didn't. I mean, it's Instagram, but like most of these things at the bottom is the same uh, as like that. It's the same shit, the same base component I used, and it's really simple to achieve in Blender. But yeah, like I guess a mix of Blender plus JS would be really, really good and would give you the ability to go through more interesting outcomes. But yeah, I think I would go with Blender just because I have like an affinity with Blender a lot. It makes a lot of sense. But if you want to go website, mostly like web and mobile, 3JS is going to be way better to learn. So there is like JavaScript obviously behind. So there's that. And this is just Blender, as the B3D implies right there. So, you know, eh. I mean, to me, that would be it. But again, I like how my brain is just not working right now. Today has been really hard. If you look at this, and if you look at anything that they have made so far, most of the creations, like if I'm getting this one, for example, what makes it good? It's not the visuals. It's the motion. There is something about how it moves that feels realistic, that is making a lot of sense. There is some floating, there is some bounce, there is some dampening in the curve that has been used for the effect. It might even be manual adjustment here and there. But that whole thing is what makes it good. If it was just tilting, going back, tilting up, going back, it wouldn't be as good. Like there would be less shine happening in some elements. So that is not something. Hi, welcome in. I need to say that to you now that you're here. I love the new background or the set that you have right now. Really good. Really good. I like it. I like it a lot. It's really good. I wish I could. I can't. But that is what I was saying earlier. You need to have an understanding of motion design to do something that makes sense. Like this is boring-ish, right? It's really simple. It's just a rotation thing. But as soon as you have the understanding of how things are supposed to move and react to the movement, that is something that would make it incredible in your words from earlier. So if the Joy-Con right there wasn't really moving and it was just the joystick that was moving, it would still be pretty good, but it wouldn't be as great. And the tiny addition of move off the Joy-Con when something happened to create like that realisticness, that would make it good or much better. So yeah, I think that would be the what to learn basically. Like instead of having it just learning Blender, just learning JS, just learning anything, uh, it I yeah it again it is motion. So it's going back to some of the first video that we have shared when you've been in the channel for the first times. But like God damn it, what's the fucking thing? I think principle of motion design is some of the videos that you need to watch 100%, which we talked about before. These things that we talked about before as well. One which I shared with you in the beginning. Yeah. I mean, toolset is whatever the fuck you want. It's always the same thing. Like there is no um yeah, there is nothing that I can't do in Figma. That's a personal thing, but there is nothing that I can't do in Figma other than 3D. But for the motion that I want to have, if I really want to achieve something, I can. And that is because I know how motion works and I know how Figma works. Sassy, hi, welcome. Sassy's a motion designer. Um, how are you? How have you been? So that is the thing that makes it good. It's because I know how, like, the dampening on the button, the distance in between the click and the bottom of the floor, how the shadow is supposed to react, all of that. All that is what makes it good, but I don't really care which tool I'm using. I just know these things, like these videos of understanding. Why are you breaking right there? The view? I see. Good job. I think everything is broken right there. I think Ark is currently dead. I'm gonna quit that. We'll quit that. The Salsus, hi, welcome in. Your first message. Welcome in. Hope you're good. Let's hope. No, so that's gonna be an Ark is currently dead. Let me force quit this bitch. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. Even my computer is currently dying. That no sense. Makes no sense. I mean, that's not a me thing. Back. I'm back. It's back. It's working. So these things of understanding how motion design work and how animation work would be what you need to learn. And then whatever tool you want to use, do that. It doesn't really care which tool you're using. This one is a full course on Skillshare, which is obviously, as always, create a new account, go to a YouTuber page, get your first month for free, do that Skillshare course for free 4 months, and then fuck off. You know, the usual thing. I mean, if you want to pay for Skillshare, you can, but you have it access for free. Anyways, uh, you know, the usual. So I'd say that is a good base so far. And then this one, which we looked at before, which is a full like a full series of, I think, 40 something videos in total, which is really good, which I highly recommend as well. Not the 21 seconds, goddamn. Not 40, 10. My bad. 40 was somewhere else. But that's really all you need in the beginning, and as well this one, without being like it just remove the values right there. Enough. It'll be good. I think. These 3 videos alone are going to give you everything you need to understand about how to animate and do some movement on a screen. After that, once this is understood, there will just need to be an understanding of how to apply these to the tool that you're using. So if you have no squash, which is one of the easiest and regular representation of how motion works, that squashing of the ball would make the overall experience of that bouncing more realistic or more animated. And so as soon as you have this in your UI or website or thing, it makes it look better. One of the thing that I kind of want to touch on for split seconds, going to be here, is something that is going to be kind of, how can I say that? Discouraging, maybe? The main point that I want to make sure that everyone understands is that good design is invisible and bad design is in your face. And good animation is something that most people will never notice. It's just, oh, it feels natural. And that's it. So you will spend days, potentially months, on animating something that will not be perceived by a regular user. Only people that will see what you have achieved and why it's so good are the people that care. The designer that comes to your website will see. But someone that doesn't know will not really care. Uh, and that is how your brain works. It's not that it feels higher quality. It's, do you remember the last time something bad happened to you? Probably yes. First thing that came to mind was probably in the past X amount of days, and you know exactly what it is. If I'm asking you, do you remember the last time something good happened to you, something that was good done to you by someone else? You probably don't remember. Or do you remember when someone owes you money, or do you remember when you need to give back some money to someone? You probably have forgotten that you needed to give it back. But someone owes you like $2, you do remember. You still remember to this day. That bitch in middle school that took like $2 from you still hasn't given it back. You remember, you know. So you know that these are the things that your brain will remember and hog the negative part of things. And when it's flawless and nothing really come in your way and bother your experience, you don't really notice anything. So there's that, which is really important. Adding motion to a website or an app is going to be detrimental to the user interface and to the user experience in the long run. As in, if I'm adding motion to a button, like the one that we have right here, right? I mean, not this one specifically, but like the first one that we had earlier, like that. Adding this to a website would make the experience worse, not better. Bones, hi, welcome. How are you? I have a question for you also, but that's for in a second. But like adding this to a website would make it worse than if it was just static and click and done. Unless the whole website is in 3D, in which case potentially, but even then that's too long of a transition. Adding this theme would make the experience worse. So there is a balance to get, and understand when to add some things and when to not add some things. And most of the time, in order for the user experience and flow to be much better, you kind of need to be as limited as possible and as bare bone as you can make it to just get like the essence of what you want to have. Meaning that the transition in your harvest state is going to be like subtle, the click is going to be subtle, but it's still going to be there. Like if you had simply the harvest state, like right about here, I should just fucking pose, but like just that divot that makes the button like go deeper on hover, um, and I mean, or something on same thing on click. That alone would be enough to make the experience better. As soon as the whole button is like kind of shifting, debatable, debatable. But yeah, yeah. Question for you. I think you made a mistake here. I don't think you remember, but I said use can to learn Japanese, and you said kana. Kana is not the name of the app. The name of the app is can with two N's. I think, unless you meant something else. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, details. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It was last Friday. But that, I guess, that's the thing. So, to go back to some of your first questions, Chris, making a website go from okay to great, with motion is going to be very subtle, and you just need to understand how motion works, and after that you should be good. Blender is not necessary. JS is going to be somewhat necessary. If it's just website related, it's going to be CSS only, kinda. Like it's changing the CSS to make sure that it react in the way react in the way that you want it to react to make the motion go through. But that's about it. So there is no stack of tools that are specific that would help whoever. And if it's dev and like website and app related, if it's going very much towards the storytelling and interactivity, Blender is going to be better, but also like again, the amount of resources on both Blender and After Effects is going to be the same. I my brain is going in every direction right now. It's telling me go live and motion.dev just because you can. Like if you just learn motion.dev and learn how to do all of these things, that's already enough of a of micro interactions to render like an okay website to be much like not much better, but like like it's just it's not much, but it's enough to do these things. That is basically what you want to have with the storytelling and the static component to go through things. Like site-wise, motion.dev is going to be the thing. JSAP is going to be the thing as well. You don't need much more knowledge other than this is mostly JavaScript based. You have other platforms, obviously, but like that's the base. And once you have this, you kind of good. So I I am biased there. That's why I don't want to forward my bias too much. Kinda. Not too much. Um, I I mean, the reason what I'm thinking about it so much right now and not just giving a definitive answer into this and that and that's it is again, he's young. I'm agreeing with that 100%. The fact that there is no prior knowledge, there is still prior knowledge, but not that much, and that the landscape of things tech wise right now is changing so fast. So sending him toward Blender is not a bad idea, right? Because 3D is going to be good. But sending him toward Blind instead of Blender might be better. Sending him toward Rive instead of After Effects is going to be potentially better. Uh, in terms of long-term potentials, I don't know. Like, we are old enough to remember when we started working, some of the techs that we use today didn't exist yet. Some of the tools that existed at the time that were industry standards that needed to be studied died 5 years later without anything like you didn't know it wasn't planned and didn't just new tech done. So After Effect, no. The concept of After Effects, yes. The concept of storytelling through motion design is going to remain the same because this is the concept and the overarching like umbrella term for all the topic that you want to have. So that's why I'm saying you just learn motion design, you should be good for anything. Um, but after, I mean, I think learning spline of a blender is going to be easier but bad in the long term. Learning Rive of a After Effects is going to be potentially better long term as well. I don't know yet. Otherwise, I would have stock in that company. Um, Probably. The most foundational thing you can have is going to be code. So, like, um, which means, again, if you have the ability to tinker and go into the engine and touch stuff, that sounds kinky, and do things with code, you have a greater power over someone that doesn't. That will always be the case. Like, if you know how to do a specific type of script in After Effects, for example, you have the ability to create a script in, I forgot which language it is. I think it's Python. I think it's a Python script that you can have inside of After. I forgot. It's been a while. If you have the ability to do that and write them by hand, you are better than someone that doesn't or doesn't have the ability. If you know C sharp, for example, you would have like the ability to do other things, to automate stuff. So again, having the knowledge of code is going to be a greater tool in your tool belt for the longest time, even with the rise of AI and the fact that AI is taking over and will probably take over some of these entry level jobs. But it doesn't seem as a fun time at his age. That's also what I'm trying to, you know, think about. So it is complicated to me. It's a very complicated topic to send someone toward a very specific tool or suite, I guess, suite of tool to go somewhere. Chipuli, sign. What in? What is the question? We have a fiery discussion right now. um, no, we don't say that. uh, we yeah, we don't say that. There is no equivalent saying of that sentence in French. Um, yeah, yeah, that doesn't exist. It's just in English. That's basically what we say. Yeah, Chris, I would say Rive would be good right now. Um, it's just too complex. That's the thing. Like that's the main issue that I have with Rive is that it is a lot of concept that makes a lot of sense for me because I have the knowledge, the prior knowledge that I need to have to understand Rive. But if you're just starting, it's I disagree with that. Blender doesn't need like uh any prior knowledge. Like it is a lot of content and a lot of concepts, but it doesn't like lay on a foundation that you are expected to have. Rive expects you to have a minimum of understanding of how motion design works and what motion design is before you can kind of understand the interface and how it's supposed to work. Whereas Blender is just, this is a new tool and we are going to expand and show you how it works from the beginning. Like that's something specifically in the resources and the tutorial that you can find online. The amount of Blender tutorial that you have that tell you exactly, you click on the third button from the top, not telling you the name of the button, but they say you click on the third button from the top, which is called name of the button. That is a way of transmitting information, or yeah, transmitting information that is more catered toward the beginners and the people that don't know. Whereas the Rive team, from the tutorial that I've seen so far, have been you click on that event button, and it doesn't really tell you what it does. It doesn't tell you why it's called event. It doesn't tell you what it will be for later. It will just tell you in the next step that we will then use the event button that we have created, or the event that we have created, to then do something else, which you don't really understand. Whereas in the learning for Blender, you have a bit more explanatory things, I guess. Say that? I don't know. It's so weird. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, Also, Ghibli, I'm thinking about it at the same time. We don't say 420, we say 420, but in French. So 420, but it's weird. It is weird. It doesn't exist. Um, and also pass up, yes, kinda, but in French. So yeah, I really I it's crazy how my brain is thinking. I don't see Blender being good for website and apps. Um, I don't I don't I don't see that being a good option. If you want to go 3D, I think Spline is going to be better, but there is like a way less content and way less tutorials to learn. And then on the other end, I do see Rive being extremely powerful and really good in terms of um, website and creation, but in terms of learning, it lays on the foundation that you need to have to make sense of the content, which they don't really explain, in my eyes, well enough. They're going for jitter, which is based on After Effects. So if you watch an After Effects tutorial, you could probably recreate the thing in jitter. If you watch a jitter tutorial, you might be able to recreate the thing in After Effects. And these will give you some sort of the foundation of motion design, because you will learn how keyframe works, what keyframe interpolation works, or how it's made, the curve for the transitions. Like all of these are After Effects concepts that are now passed into other tools like CSS, for example. But they are based in motion design tools first that then were transferred into code and other platforms. So that's why I'm saying like After Effects and Jada might be better, because you have, just by default, by the content that you get to learn, you get a greater range of informations on things that you will be able to reuse in other platforms. But that's where my brain is going. Uh, it, it, it's sad because I don't want to support Adobe pricing and other things. Um, I hate it because sending someone into an Adobe product implies that they will be stuck there forever. I know. Kind of sad. But it's the same thing as entering the Apple ecosystem. As soon as you understand how things works there, you understand the rest of the tools, and you're kind of good, and you don't need to leave. So, yeah. No, I'm not saying because of the price. I'm just saying because it is such a distinctive tool compared to the other motion design tool that then if you wanted to switch, you have a harder time. It takes like more effort to move out, which is kind of bad. So I would say probably going to jitter for the creation of the content, and then going to After Effects tutorials for learning what you are trying to do. But that feels more right to me. Because as soon as you understand the basics of After Effects motion, moving from there to Rive is way easier. Like it not great, but it is way easier to do once you have the understanding of how After Effects works, you can just say, oh, I know how to do these, and now I understand what like an event is. I understand what a keyframe is. I understand what this kind of is, or what this animation timeline means. Like it's this a concept that is similar but not identical, and so you get something that is, oh, you have like a pre-comp in After Effects. And the pre-comp is basically your animation timelines for Rive. Cool, cool, cool. I get that. That's a logical uh, learning path in my head. Also, I am really, really biased here. Like that, you know. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think you have more options with After Effects and Jitter in the outcome and in the results than you have with Rive right this instant. I see how Rive is currently integrated um, really simply with a lot of things, which makes it even more appealing than it used to be. I get it. It's a new tool. So, like, there is no certitude certifications. I'm not certain. That's what I was looking for. I'm not certain that Rive is going to be here in 5 years. And Jiro is After Effects, but in your browser. So I'm 100% sure that if there is a new tool that comes up that replaces this one and this one dies, it will be the same. Like you will still have a timeline with keyframes, with events, with actions, with pre-comp, with components here and there. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Whereas Rive right now is such a different tool compared to anything else that if you learn it and it dies, replaced by something else, I don't know. The knowledge you would have learned there is almost meaningless. You would learn how to use like a state machine, which is something that we have in game design and in like Unreal Engine and other game-related engines. But unless you want to go into game design, that is useless knowledge. Like there is no state machine in Figma, there is no state machine in After Effects, nor there is one in Jitter. It's a new concept for most people. But that debatable, highly debatable. But that's the whole reasoning. That took 6 hours. Good job. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. I would go with Jitter because it's a proven tool. It's a duplicate of a tool that is an industry standard, and then I would use the industry standards to learn the concepts, and then in time move to tools that are seemingly more interesting, as in Rive, but not necessarily in the beginning. So, yeah. I think my timeline would be motion design with After Effects and Jitter, then moving to JavaScript for motion design. And then if at that time of transition, if there is like an interest in some new tools or new tech or new things, and Rive is still around and still good, then maybe Rive. But Yeah, motion design tools first, followed by code related motion, followed by creation with other more creative tools. But again, I feel like anyone that goes into visual creation, yeah, right, hi, welcome. um, anyone that goes into visual creation, aka motion design through code, it's usually not going back to motion design through tools. Unless they can't achieve something in code, but most of the people that I've seen that have been starting to dev stuff have not stopped. I lost people. So yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Yeah, yeah, that took a while. That took a while, but yeah, that's the idea. That's the concept. It's really hard for me because I do love what everything is Rive or the Rive team is doing. I do love everything that they are pushing in terms of features and things. I hate hate their tool and their tutorials. Hate them. That makes no sense. And it it it's the marketing that they have that is really bad for me. That just doesn't match. That's a me thing. It's not a you thing. It's simply a me thing. It doesn't really matter. You don't really care about it. It's fine. It doesn't impact you. It impacts me. But god damn, I hate it. Let me see if I can just do that for a second. Um, like, this is Jada onboarding. I thought I had an account, but apparently I do not. Um, that whole thing has been made with Jada, obviously. Um, this is going to be for products because that's most likely going to be the thing. I'm not going to invite anyone's, and if I start from scratch, because that's what I want to do, I'm getting the tutorial, which shows what the artboard is, which is basically what Figma is. And because now they have like a multi-pointer thing, I have access to, guess what? The design thing and the animate thing, which is the same thing as Figma with the design tab and the prototype tab. And so if I have my scene one and I create a new scene, which is like this button right there, and add it next, I can then have the transition between scene A and scene B. If I have like my element right here, for example, it reacts the same way, has the same pitch, it has the same key transition and stuff. Like maybe this thing needs to have some radius. That's an option. I don't even know. And maybe it needs to have like a bit of a rotation, right? And we want to animate from scene A to scene B, if that's an option. I don't know. Um, I have fading right there. Maybe I can change that. I don't know. Maybe I can have properties that are defined, but the interface is going to look similar. Maybe here, if I change the radius on this one, I have doubts. Yeah, that's not the same. Go back on this. Oh, yes, my bad. Just uh, I'm not saying that it's good, but it took me 3 seconds to figure out where the fucking custom button was, and then I'm kind of good. And I would have the ability to say, well, if I'm here and I want to go through um, adding like a new animation at the same point, which will be like a rotate, for example, of 45 degrees, I have this done almost automatically, but maybe I needed this to be like a tad longer, is fully radiused while I'm here. Maybe I need this thing to be like 90 degrees and not something else. It's just fade in, rotate, all that. And that, again, took me like 5 seconds. I just created an account. I fear if I go there and I just open the editor and I create a new project, these are pretty good. Nonetheless, that doesn't change. And I need this. I want a fucking shape. Give me a fucking shape. Thank you. I want this to be in the center. So I need to animate this. And how? Like, I don't know. Do I need to go in the play? Do I need to go in my timeline? Apparently timeline 1. Of course, that's really weird for an animation tool. And then I need to add a keyframe here, but it has the same similar things as After Effects. I'm gonna add a keyframe around here, move it to the 24th frame, so it's like adding a keyframe there, back there, put that 0%, I'm guessing. And then from here, what I want to do is go to the 48th frame right there, and I want to change this to 60. Might be too much. No, good. But now I need to go back here to create a second keyframe, go back to 0, and then in my 1 second, I need to have my rotation. It's going to be around here, so I need to create a keyframe here, 1 second there, the rotation of 90. And now I have the same transition, which again, it seems the same in terms of length of time. But if you don't know what you're doing and you just arrive on the state machine, which is your first thing, you just don't know where things are. You don't really understand these things, and any state and exit makes absolutely no sense to you. So it's weird to me. Anyways, what about the infinite Canva tools like Miro or Mural? They still exist in 5 years. Yes, they will. They definitely will. These tools are used to replace a whiteboard. So they will be there. Um, like people want to write stuff on whiteboards, and sometimes we even have physical ones inside of rooms to basically have the concept that you want to lay out to other people in a way that makes more sense. So yes, the concept of an infinite whiteboard or an infinite Canva, that is going to be there forever, I feel like, or for as long as we use software, which at some point we won't. I know. But yeah, the concept of it is gonna remain. I think the longest time, mainly because we just need this, like we me have that need for transferring what we have in our heads in ways that the words that we know can't really transform and give you like the context we need to send things um in like visual forms. So yeah. Anis, I don't understand what you're saying, but hi, walk on in. On YouTube. Appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate you chatting. I don't know what you're saying though. But yeah, we need, I personally, I need to extract the fucking things that are in my head visually and put them visually somewhere. And sometimes, like a whiteboard is just the easiest thing of an option because I can just write something, have a sketch, do something on paper. And the infinite Canva, or the infinite whiteboard, is basically the ability to say, oh, you have this thing where you have like most of your notes and sketches and things, but you need like a bigger page, and you've reached the last one on your book. You need to buy a new book. But with an infinite Canva, you just you move it to the side and you create a new one. So yeah, that's gonna remain. Again, something that I've said before, Figma's infinite Canva is infinite-ish. It is not infinite for real. It's 300,000 pixel wide, I think, or 3 million pixel wide. I forgot. It's not infinite. There is a limit. I reached the limit. What? Uh, as you can't zoom out a certain amount. That's also a thing. And there is a side where you can put things further than the side, but you won't not be able to like uh, crawl in that zone, which is kind of annoying. You should, but you can't. But yeah. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's gonna remain the same. That's for sure. That is for sure. Another person that might be interesting for you, Chris, or not you, but like lately, Shantiro, is Tatsuya. Just really good. It's different. It's not like visual. I mean, it is visual, but it's not visual in terms of UI representation. It's mostly going to be 3D representation of artistic creations, which might be better when it comes to like understanding or experimenting with 3D if they decide to go with Blender or 3D at some point. It, it's really good. It has been some of my inspiration for a long time because of how good their creation. Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't think I'm a genius in my field, but I appreciate the praise always. It's always really good. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate the support as well. So yeah, like these things are really, really static animations, but they are really good. Um, I don't know what a UPnP is, Stony. I think Tetsuya is mostly using Cinema 4D, but it's been a while, and this one is the Tatsuya bot, which is the automated thing, so you can't really ask questions. Universal plug and play. I don't know what that is. um, I forgot. I think it's either Blender or um or Cinema 4D. I feel like it's Cinema 4D, but I'm way too out of it, obviously. Um, he doesn't even say anything. God damn. Ah, there's just After Effect on this one, and there was no tool on this one, motion graphic animation. Like that is sad. I want the name of the tool that we used. I mean, since there is Adobe Max, I'm guessing it's Cinema 4D, mainly because, um, you know, Adobe is Cinema 4D, so that's probably the case. But then, yeah, right there. Right there. But yeah, mostly Cinema 4D. I was right. Yay!
It's muscle time!
God damn it. Yes, I was resting much. It was nice, actually. It was nice. Oh, God damn. Yeah, Tatsuya is really good. Anything that is related to the NFT space boom that happened in 2021. 2020, 2021, same thing. Most of the people that have started to do 3D rendering have been really good. So that's something. Like Lorem has been really good as well. I don't know if they are right there. They are way different, I'd say. Most of the thing are gonna be in on Instagram or Twitter directly. I don't know if they have been active in there. It's been a while. Oh, goddamn. Like most of these creations of 3D creations and again, rendering of textures is an interesting thing. And now that I'm looking at these things after the fact, like I have played with stuff. It's just processing. Like this is the most easy thing you can do. But the processing and the rendering is really good. And then there is like a lot of shine, a lot of bloom, a lot of things in the output that makes it way more interesting. But it is textured. So yeah, other than that, just texture and materials. So if you always want to go into 3D, which is really good. Again, learning how texture works and just looking around. I know. Uh, I don't think my computer would allow me to do that, but uh, yeah. Like it's basically doubt, huge amount of doubt on this one. I have forgotten everything. Um, uh, nope, nope. God damn. You get that. You get a modifier. Your modifier is going to be an array. That array is going to be on the z-axis, rather than. Let's do 2 on the z-axis. Let's do 0 on the x-axis for now. Have a count of whatever. And then each of these are gonna have an object offset. And that object offset is, sorry, a constant offset, not an object offset, my bad. And that is going to be, it's supposed to be like a rotation, but obviously I can't do that. But yeah, that is one of the thing. You can also have the object offset based on a circle, but because right now I forgot how to do fucking circles, not gonna help anyone, you know. I should just go there. Bitch, where you at? I forgot everything. So that's gonna be bad. Gonna be bad. It is going to be bad. That thing is supposed to be like bound to. The thing is, I can't really curve. Yeah, I can't really curve that. That's the thing. Um, God damn it. Move the curve. I really forgot. That's the thing. That's the thing that I forgot. I mean, you can do that. This one is kind of forced, but that's one of the things that you need to do. You need to have your simple deform to offset your element, but it's also in your array that you need to have this, and then you need to place it on a fucking curve. I just forgot how to do that. But I did that in the past. That's the thing. That's the thing. I did it. I just forgot. It's been a while. Again, I haven't touched Blender in like 3 years. So it's it's complicated. Okay? It's complicated. Um you're supposed to just have a fucking curve. The thing is that that curve itself doesn't really work right there because I need the fucking curve. But it doesn't work. Hmm. I forgot. That's the thing. There used to be a very, very simple option to do something and have your values done, but right now, obviously, I can't. So, that's because it already has maxed up his subdomains. Yeah. Like that. God damn, that took a while. So you get that. Cool. Golly. And then your initial thing needs to have a rotation. I forgot if it's a rotation on X or Y. I doubt it's gonna be this one, but there is a bit of an offset that needs to happen to tilt the value of your circle things to give you like the effect you wanted. But based on the angle of what you're seeing, like basically you need to place the camera in a very specific way to make sense. So instead of being somewhere around here, for example, you just move it around there, potentially maybe having a bit of a rotation on the z-axis, somewhere around here, that you have like a bit of a better angle, and then through offset, based on what they created earlier, you will have that thing rotate. So this is based on the timeline right there. You define that you have your initial state with going to be around here, where your official offset in my that going to be around here, and we just want to be somewhere around the 50 frame length. We might want to be like 1 meter of offset around there. But you basically have that. Let's do up to 50. And you can play with these after the fact. But again, very, very simple overall, and just the material that they have built over the time to basically get that offset a bit better. This would probably be a bit better. Just did that. Yeah. If that's an option, and then this element right there, do I still have this on file? That's a question. I don't think I do. Um, but and then add a material, which is not that. No, which is not that either. Um, ah, yep, that's not it. I don't have it. I removed them for sure. For sure. Um, God damn. Yeah. Oh, break. As you have your. Oh, I have lost everything. The clear code is supposed to go a bit up, as far as I remember, to have like a bit of a lighter thing. Emission is going to be at white, but also we need the emission total to be lower, like something like 0.2 something. It's bright, but not that bright, you know. It needs to be kind of clear. That's the issue that I don't have. Roughness is going to be at 0-ish. We still have a bit of a sheen, as far as I remember. We go up a tad, and obviously I forgot how to go into random mode right there, but that's roughly it. Just need to change these values to achieve the textures and material that you want to have. And right now, I just forgot. It's been years. It's been years. Specifically, also because I have on the previous instance of Blender that I used to have, I had different type of options, including how can I say that? Including presets that I had created that made things way easier and way faster, you know. Yeah, I have an animation that works, and it's good enough. I'd say, you know, simple stuff. It might be a tad fast. Might be a tad fast. I'm gonna say that. Like maybe the animation, god damn it, maybe the animation needs to be like 100 frames or 120 frames to be better. It's just less fast. Less fast. More chill. And And the initial cube, again, needs to have some sort of a rotation on itself, like to take that offset. But that's something that I haven't made. Also probably need a modifier for with a bit of a bevel. Like probably 16 segment and 16 segment is it that strong? My bad. And an amount of 0.05. Really tiny. But you have these colors, you know, glass. All day. All day. Right now it's that white. Shiny. It's shiny. Ah. I forgot if it needs to be fully transparent. That's the thing that I kind of forgot. Like they apparently not. Yeah, that's too much. We probably can't have that in EV. Probably the right there. Probably. You try to specialize in a field inside of products, for example, that you just do language app. Ah. So I've never specialized per se. I have most of the time, if not all the time, I did my best to know as much as I could. So learning every tool, learning everything, learning every domain. If I needed to learn like or work for a banking app, I could. Like that was the plan. So I wouldn't say that it would be easier to make the to make the job easier. But if you are someone that really like to do a specific type of thing, like you said, the language app, for example, which is not like my preferred stuff, but it is what I've built. I don't think it's a good idea. I wouldn't recommend you to be specialized in a very specific field. The reason for that is you will be replaced by something else and someone else. Like, if I was simply and only someone that only knew language learning apps, for example, and I wanted to get hired in a company that does same thing, banking. Banking is the easiest thing to talk about. They wouldn't have the ability to see my work and say, oh yeah, that person can do some banking stuff. So if you have a wider range of outputs, as in something that includes a lot of data, something that includes a lot of fun, something that includes a lot of user interactions, something that is based on the camera, and you are showcasing that you are pretty good at all of these things, you will get hired faster. Not really, still unemployed after 2 years, so you know that's a different thing. But you should. And if you are an expert at, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you are an expert in a very specific field and you are working for that company in a very specific field, that's great. But it would need to be very, very dedicated. Uh, but as soon as someone else that has the vision for another app, for example, comes in, there is something that is more interesting for that secondary person because they don't only know the thing that they are building, they know the thing that they are building plus something else. So from my point of view, I know most things. I've worked on most type of apps, but I'm not really specialized in any specifics. Um, I built the Japanese learning app because I needed it for myself. But that's about it. Like not because it's my specialty. It's just like I figured that I could build it for some reason. I convinced myself that I could. And when I was sure enough that I could, because I had like a massive MVP done, I started talking about it. But before that, you heard nothing. Same thing with the current project. You heard nothing. You don't know what's happening. So, yeah, I, yeah, I wouldn't be a specialist. I would mostly recommend you to be a generalist most of the time. Um, uh, it's gonna be better for you to get like general knowledge and understanding. I mean, these emotes, if you end a message with an emote, it just breaks. I still don't understand. Um, Designing super fast comes with the time spent on the tool that you're using to design. Like for example, today I did. Do I have it right there? I think I have it right there. Second. 1 second. Right here. God, Figma is so slow. Ah, that's the wrong page. Today I did these in like 16 seconds. Not really. It probably took me like 20 minutes to do these things because they are really, really simple and they just contain images or screenshots of the content. And it's not that good, but it took me that small amount of time just because I know how to navigate the tools that I'm using. If you just need like a design of something, then in no time, use some sort of a template to like spit out something, which again, that's the example that I take every time. I spit out this thing using like a UI kit builder or a UI kit that exists to have like templates and things. And then once that was done, I just polished it more. But like overall, the speed at which you design is bound to how much you know the tool. If you don't know the tool that you're using, it's gonna be harder for you to kind of figure out. But do know the tool that you're using, well, you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be fast, and you're gonna be nice. Like that's the idea. So yeah, fast is gonna be based on you and your knowledge of the tools that you're using. If you know Figma and you're designing in Figma, it's going to be pretty useful and pretty fast. But if you know sketch and you designing in Figma is going to be pretty hard. It's weird. But yeah. Um, if you want to crank out design as fast as possible, again, it's a matter of practice. And I know I'm sharing the same thing every time, but the creations that I've made, like this one which I haven't made yet, but like this one, same thing. Uh, it, it is not necessarily fast, but it gives you mastery of the tools that you are trying to use. So for me right here, for example, the fact that I have the ability to do these curves in a very specific amount of time, which is almost no time, helps a lot. I think the one that Chris sent last week, I think we probably have somewhere in there, unless I deleted it. In my draft, probably gonna be in the draft, isn't it? Also, VJ has created the same thing that we have created a long time ago, which is really fun to see. Did I delete it? I might have deleted it. Kind of sad. 750. Hi, Mochi. Welcome back. It's why did the name change? And this one I don't think I have started it, but it's also a very simple and similar season 2. I see. Like here, for example, let's say I wanted to do a dead back panel for some reason, right? And I know I need to do that fast. If you don't know how to use the pen tool, you might be tempted to do things like this and then find the right angle and then bring back the element and then go back up and add something, and then bend it. And even here, I'm doing like a lot of work that I shouldn't be doing by default. Get that panel, right? Pretty fast already, but that's not as fast as I would be if I just did it my way, which is if I know that I need to do this panel, it's gonna be this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And I'm using the V tool with the band. You just place these elements where they needs to be. And I'm done. And that can only come from practice and practice and practice. So, yeah. These kind of test that I'm doing with cars and with other realistic things, these are the best, most efficient way to kind of learn, like how to do designs and content. This is in the time since I arrived in your stream. Good. That's pretty good. There's a lot of things that I would change, but don't worry about it. Hmm. I'm seeing issues. I'm seeing so many issues. Why am I like this? I apologize. Issues. Mm. Also, um, but I don't know. I don't play games, and I'm not on Windows, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. However, uh, yeah. Let me do that just for the exercise because it's fun to me. um, you're trying to do this, right? That's your current state of things. These might be a tad. I may have made a mistake in the screenshot. That's probably for sure. Probably for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. So, like, there is a ton of things that go into creating this in my head, at least for me, in terms of what needs to happen. You have your profile picture that is around here. You have a secondary icon that is around here. You have a text that is going to be in the center. So I can just create and map the content like in no time. And then I know that I have an input field that is going to be underneath based on knowledge, as always. I'm going to make that input field a certain amount of sizes. It just makes sense to me. And I'm just going to place it properly. Underneath that, I know, based on your image, that I will have like a section that seems to be squared. So I'm just going to create something that is similarly squares of 80 by 80, and then duplicate them to make sure that I have everything in place. And then underneath that, I have, or I'm going to have my initial container thingy, right? That seems to be pretty accurate overall thing. So I'm going to map out if I know what I need to have. And then based on same thing, knowledge, I know that these three things are probably going to need to be in an auto layout frame. So I'm going to just shift A that, make sure that the spacing is going to be in auto, and make sure that everything inside is going to be not 80, but probably be in fill container. And then have um, maybe like 8 in everything. It just makes more sense. They're all the same size. That's cool. Then I have these three, which are going to be in a layout frame as well at the top. And I know that this, and that, technically speaking, is going to be in a layout vertically because it needs to happen. So I'm just going to make that, make sure that I have the right amount of spacing, 16. And then I know that this element is going to be duplicated. So by default, I'm going to make a component out of this and then just duplicate the main component, place it somewhere else. So take the main right here, move it here so that I can play with it. And then that, go in. I know I have a second one. I have that element there. Now the only thing that I need to do is say, well, here I have my place. And then I have a tag and a tag. That's your overall layout. So in like 3 seconds, I already have my container for the cards that is going to be the endpoints. And now that I know that this is going to be a component, a usable component, I also know that these three elements are probably going to be a component as well. I'm going to create a component out of this one and just duplicate it and move that there. And then based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to have an element here. These two are going to move away. These are going to be filling container. And I have title, center line, center to the frame, bottom line, so it doesn't move much. And then there is a darker element, I'd say, right there. Let's say 40. 40 is going to be easier for me. There, cool. But now I have this. I just need to change my icons there and my titles. But I have my components already done, meaning that my design is going to be pretty good. I have my input field that's going to be an input field. If I don't know yet that I have like other search on the page, I don't really care about if it is like a component or not. I should, for the sake right now, I don't care. And now I'm done on the layout and content, and the only thing that I need to work on is the design of these two things. If I want this to be like a bit of radius or with something else, I don't know. Maybe no background, maybe the background is coming from here, but it's with the shadow based on what you have. The shadow is supposed to be a bit different. Maybe I need a stroke right there at like 10%, so I still have a bit of a thin outline core. How much did we did? We did 16. I mean, we did 8 on the top, so let's do 16 on this one so that we have something that makes sense. Remove the background. Add an image quickly, if we can. I doubt it. Why do I go for the white one? That sounds, I mean, you know how that sounds. And yeah, I don't know how long that took me. It's bad, but it's really close to what you already had. I don't know. The Stony, I think it's yeah. The 4060 is a entry level cards, but the entry level from the 40 series compared to whatever came before is kind of good. But you know, that's a good thing. I think the 60 series or the 70 series are going to be pretty good. But yeah. So yeah, Bones, I don't know if that helps in terms of showcasing how I go faster. But also I'm building something based on something that you made. So I already have the structure, the layout, the content, basically everything that needs to happen on that screen. I kind of know. So if you're doing things without really knowing, it takes a lot more time. I agree with that. But overall, like, this is the like the brain system that I have of while I'm doing the thing or while I'm building the page itself, I recognize that some elements are going to be components and going to be reused across the page. And therefore, I'm just gonna do that as soon as I can. So if I have my main layout and I know roughly where things are, then do that. The other thing that is pretty useful as well is that if you had, let's say you had like a 48 by 48 element right here, then hi, welcome on it. That was purple for no reason, and in a frame, you have the ability to do a command C, and then on this element, do a command shift on, which is a paste to replace. And so if you do paste to replace, it will basically replace whatever the fuck you have selected. So if you just do command V, it's just going to be all over the place. But if you do command shift R, it places the thing that you wanted to do in the right spot. But that, to me, at least, is one way to go much faster. But yeah, also I just missed your reply. Yeah. It's, yeah. If you don't know what you're about to create, I agree that it's going to be more time consuming and it's better to create a component when you're done. But I mean, it has been some sort of a force of habit for me where I just, like, rule of thumb, me building something, if an element is used more than once, it's a component. There is no question about it. Like, if I know that there is something that can be reused just once, it's going to be a component. And so, for example, here with your example, that element and that element are the same. So when I'm going to be here and create the auto layout around it with the fill color and whatever, that's going to need to be a component as well. So I'm going to need to create a component out of here immediately to, you know, make sure that I can then reuse it at the bottom and be done with it. But that's because I know based on your design. So if you don't know just yet, it's going to be or going to come from common sense from you of knowing, do I think, as the creator of the design that I'm currently making, do I think that that element specifically is going to be reused in another screen? That's the question. If the answer is yes, probably, make a component immediately. If the answer is I don't know, just wait. And if the answer is yeah, no, never gonna happen, this is a one-off, then you're good. But if you know in your head, I'm building a button right there, the probability of it being reused is pretty high. I'm building a tag right here, the probability of it being reused is pretty high as well. So you know, probably gonna happen as well. So, dang. It's a bit of the thing that I kind of have in my head at all times to just say, well, that's going to be reused. That's not going to be reused. That's going to be something that needs to be changed. That's you know, all that. To me. Bitch. What do you mean? Why do you mean that is not? Ah, sorry, wrong thing. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen that, that's new. It's pretty cool. So instead of having a comment, we now have the ability to have the annotation that's going to be in the dev mode inside of the design section. And so from here, we can say, well, this is going to be a development section, and this is going to be an icon. And I can just have that. I can have a property of height and a property of width with a specific fill added to it so that when Max, hi, welcome on. How are you? How's the day going? So you have all that that is available. And so here I have my annotation. Good. When I'm not like really taking or thinking about it, I'm fine. Right? If I'm going back into the comment section, it's gonna be there. But then for the devs, if they go in dev mode, this thing is gonna be highlighted and way more visible. Now you have the color picker in the dev mode as well, which is really good. But that really useful for the devs specifically for the devs, really useful because you have access to this thing, you know the information, you know the things much better. So the only thing that I don't really like about it is that it remains there. So if you need this to be like somewhere else on the page, it is a bit of a pain to just move around, not move around. It's annoying. Other than that, it's a good thing to preview and have like somewhere. Quickly. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm pretty good, Max. I'm pretty good. I'm a bit tired as always, but that's the usual thing for me. How did you find the stream? I want to know. Also, Chris, you said something, and then you said something. How do you innovate and create more shiny design when you have constraints already set, like a design system or previous designers did something, and if you try to improve it, you break consistency and so on? That's a good question. That is a good question. Good. I will do that, Chris. Don't ask twice. If you think that something that has been built in the past can be improved upon by changing the design system, propose a change. Do not make the change, just propose a change and say, this is the design we have today using the design system. This is my change that I'm proposing to change the component I'm trying to work on to have a better output. And maybe it works, maybe the team likes it, maybe the team doesn't like it, but that's fine. But it's not touching the initial design, it's touching like a duplicate of what you have so that you can just copy paste what you have created. But then you can also do, based on what you just said with animations, if there is an animation that is already in place, but you want to create something new, you can just say, well, I have found this. This is the animation that I would prefer to see. But that's an animation that needs to go over the entire animation pattern of the app. So have a conversation with the devs and say, how are the animation made? Do you have like a file that contains all of the animations? Or do you need to do animations one by one? If it's one by one, which I doubt, we never know, forget about it. If it's a component animation thing, like they have a CSS file with the animation and the timelines and the thing that is set like animation.css, that's an option. You can do that. Yeah. Like if it's based on priority, if it's really good, again, if you need to showcase stuff, That's the main point. You need to say this is the current animation and show the animation that you have in mind um, in place in multiple spots. Like if you want to change one specific, you do 3 of the same animation to say, well, this is the current things on our model, our transition, our thing, and this is what I'm proposing. And the first one is just like what you had in mind for this thing, but not really the one that you want to change, the one that you want to change, and something else. Yeah, then that would work. Um, like if it feels more premium, if in your eyes it feels more premium, and you have the chatting ability to tell everyone that it feels more premium, and that's the reason why you want this to be changed, you should be good. You should be good. Like it's again, designers, we're just here to bullshit our ways into making things better. But everything we say is bullshit to make other people agree with us. So bullshit your way through your animation. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. Like, yeah, like the feel of this is better. Now, wash it your way through. um, yeah, I think if you think about the entire process of what needs to happen, how many animations needs to change, is it really all of them? Can it be half of them so that it doesn't really break the consistency, the pattern, because now it's in half and half. So you have so you have half of the old transition, half of the new transition, because the new transition makes more sense in some specific spots, but the old make more sense in other spots. That's an option that you also have. So you need to have the conversation with your devs and with the rest of the team to say there's an option also that is sad, fun. Um, so yeah, the bigger you have, um, the better it is. Also, Max, thanks a lot for being on Twitter. Appreciate that. If you are someone that also have a Twitch account, Twitch do be where everyone is, but if you want to stay on YouTube, I would appreciate that as well. You do whatever you want. So yeah, I need to see what you're talking about as well, Denny. If you have like the animation, um, both of them, uh, good. If it is really a genius idea, you should not tell me yes. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, just show me. I need to see. I need to know. I need to know what the difference are. Because maybe you think it's pretty good and it makes it feel premium, and maybe it's shit. You know, you want a 16th kid? I see. I see. Um, Do you mean the fade in, slide in compared to? Ah, that. Yeah, so you want to blow. What you're saying is you want that. That's what you're saying, right? You just yeah. Um, the good thing, the good thing is who are asking themselves, what the fuck is that? That's cat. Use cat. It's good. Uh, the transition here is simply adding a blow timer per word. So this is easy easy to do. Not really, but kinda. But based on the fact that you already have it inside of the um, search, and that transition already exists, but you want to have a duplicate, which means that you have the blur and potentially also, like mine, for example, has a slide in, like your initial appear for the text. Having a combination of both with the slide in and the blur, based on the fact that you already have the blur in the search, means that the transition and the animation already exist. Based on that, it's probably gonna be an easier thing to do. So go on the um go on a chat with the dev team that is responsible for the landing page and just say, we have this transition right here. How long would it take you to apply it to the titles of the page as well? Maybe they say, oh, that's done. Like the amount of time it took them to do it is adding a class to their template of the page. I don't know how it works on your side. That could be it, right? You have your CMS page templates and your header titles just need to take the property is blurred. I'm saying bullshit right now, but that might be the case. And then you would have, as a result, this. It would have taken them 16 seconds. It would have taken you 5 minutes of discussion, and you do, and you're done, and you don't have to think about it no more. And you're like, yeah, that feels better. However, don't overdo it for the sake of yourself. Having this transition here is pretty good, but I don't have it on everything that appear. I just have like my blur at the top to just do my effects, but that's it. Like it's not a repeating animation. I feel like in your search, it's already really repeating, and it might be overwhelming for some users to have like that much transition animation in such a small, tight space. So that sounds kinky as well. Uh, but yeah, I get it. I don't know if I would say it is more premium. I like it, but you know, um, I mean that's the thing. The main point of if they have like an animation CSS file or an animation file that define all the animation that they have, and they have properties that they can just add to the current animation and just say, well, these are the heading templates, like that's a component in code. Therefore, we just need to add on appear a blur transition on top, and then you're done. And that's it. They don't have to do much more than that. So that might be all it needs to do. Maybe that header transition has already something, so you can just have that. I mean, that's probably because of the time zone difference, Chris. Yeah, potentially it's just like adding a single line of code, and potentially it's adding 3 weeks of dev. You don't know until you ask. That's all I'm saying. So ask the dev. Maybe they'll say it's fine. Maybe maybe it's not. Like the same thing. I haven't loaded this in a while. Get out. You know the appear for my characters here? Like that transition for how things are gonna be displayed based on when I'm loading the page. It's the same thing that you are trying to achieve. It has a blur, a fade in, and a bit of a movement, just a smidge, which breaks everything when I'm around here. But you know, details specifically if I'm somewhere around there, way down in the list, that I'm moving here. Sometimes it's just jiggles. It's really bad. I kind of fixed it. Anyways, doesn't matter. That is one transition. And I have one transition file, which is called onAppear character. So every time I have a character that needs to appear, it will appear with that transition. So again, if your dev have built the app and the landing page in a way that makes sense, which is probably the case, and have a container or component for the header, the title of the pages, the transition is probably in there, and just need to change the transition once, and then you're good. But I would just try and just ask. It makes way more sense. Because I agree, it looks neat, but it didn't take much time, at least not for me. But yeah. Right now we're in the red mood. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, that idea of a transition is a pretty good idea. I think you can add it simply, and yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. It's just the AI part of any new AI app is not meant for indie developers or creators. Like, you need money. Like, you need to be profitable to an extent to be able to integrate AI in your tool. Otherwise, you're gonna probably bankrupt yourself. Like for me right now, again, going back there, so I'm already there. I do have the ability to speak every and any of these examples right there. These are using the in phone robot voice, which is really bad, but it's free. I could use AI to generate the text in a more natural way, But then there is a ton of other thing that is or come into consideration that I can't do. As in, I have 13,000 characters. Each of the 13,000 characters probably have, at a minimum, one example text to showcase how it's pronounced. And, well, um, that's a lot of AI generation for voice. That costs a lot. But thinking about it like this, first of all, that costs a lot of generation. But then on top of that, you need to host and hold the snippets of sound on the phone or on a database or something. And yeah. Uh, it's bad. Yeah, you don't have to do them every time, but you need to do them at some point. So yeah, and specifically, at least for me, already the app itself, this one, is already 200, about 200 megabytes of content when you're downloading the app for the first time. So there is a ton of things. So eh, there is something in terms of the unethical thing right now. Like if you want to make a ton of money, you just go into smoking industry in China and you're gonna make banks. Uh, pretty unethical for the people, but also if you just want money, it's an option. If that's your ID, Chris, it's kind of bad. Yes, Penny, I do bring my AirPods to the gym. I mean, I stopped having over-ears headphones. Like it was great, but um, like they do when I do the God damn it, what is that? Um, if I do these, they fall down. I don't know why. But yeah, most of the time they don't. Also, they fall out of my ears when I'm streaming because I'm chatting a lot, so that these muscles and that speck of skin kind of move a lot. That kind of make them jiggle and fall out. But yeah, I don't have the AirPods 2. I have the AirPods Pro 2C. I mean, I have all of them, but yes. I'm taking the Pro just because they have the rubber tips, which are here, these things, that you can change is pretty good. The one with the silicone tips. The Pros are with the silicone tips. Without, I feel like they would slip out. But also, I don't know, I have never got them, never had them. But yeah. Yeah. Yes. Again, as I said, I stopped using over the ears headphones, even in planes. Like when I came back from Japan, I still had my headphones, but most of the complain. I just had these, and they are good enough, at least for me. So, but again, it depends on you. It depends on you. At what point would I get someone to work on Kang? I would have someone as soon as I make enough money to hire someone. So I need to have someone that is competent enough, which implies that I need to make a certain amount of money so that I can pay myself and then pay them. So it's a substantial amount of growth that needs to happen. And at that instant, it's I need at least 1,000 times the user base that I have today. And we are at 1,000 users. So with the same ratio that I have today, I need 1,000x to grow. Yeah. Also, Chris, 100%. I feel like it's going to be the golden age of bounty hunting or AI fix. For sure. For sure. For sure. By the way, Stony. God damn it. Let me clear that so I can show you something. I might need you at some point. But yeah. I have this on one of my domains. So it's online. And it still doesn't work. But I might need you for this section of the whole system because it works. It says successful, and then I'm getting an error. So that happens. But yeah, it's yeah, awesome. I might need you for that. It's currently deployed on Vercel, and it's made through V0, which I hate because I don't pay for it, and so I only have like 5 messages per day. So it's not good enough, but yeah. But yeah, the new things on 4X is really good as well. I agree with that, Chris. I know that the newer thing with the blur, the newer thing with the graded masks, and all of that is really cool. Thing that Adam has been showcasing on Twitter. So yeah. So there's that. Stony, it might need your help on at some point on this. I don't understand how it's deployed and maintained, and that domain specifically that I have that I'm using is probably going to be a sacrificial subdomain thing for me that I can have my overlays and my stuff there. Right now, it's using Framer for the landing page, but for anything like overlay dot chat dot, these are gonna probably be in there, but I don't really know how to set it up, so I might need you at some point. I'm saying that now. Doesn't mean that I need you today, but soon-ish, probably at some point. Probably. But yeah. Um, so yeah, and Chris, Orange Chris, Chris Gerbo, Chris, not Chris from NP. What is the amount that I would need? I need to be able to pay myself, and then I need to be able to pay the dev. A good dev on iOS that is paid fairly is going to cost a lot. So I'm expensive, and a good dev on iOS is also expensive. So that's why I'm saying I need to 1000x my current user base. Uh, yeah, based on the ratio that I currently have. So it's not that much, or even 100x could be enough in the beginning. But yeah, that's something that you don't really think about. 10K a month. If I make 10K a month with the app, I need to pay basically 25% in taxes to the French government. And then if I hire someone, I need to pay taxes on hiring someone for insurance and other things. So that already is lowering what I'm making by a lot. So yeah, there's that. And on top of it, there is also the Apple tax with 30% that they take. So they take 30%, then I'm cutting 25% from my government, and then paying someone, paying myself. But that's a lot. Right now, I'm currently making 17 bucks a month. I think. I think that's how much I'm getting paid by Apple on a monthly basis. Which is pretty pretty rich. God damn. I don't think it's that hard. I think it's I can't um I can't do marketing. It pisses me off so much. And I've been talking about it, and I've been sharing other people's stuff. See if I have them right there. If it's not there, it's probably on Threads. So another option, I think it's on Threads, to be honest. It's going to be easy if it's on Threads. These are titties. You can't see that. Yes, it's on Threads. I mean, you can see the titties, but you know, I can't share the titties. I mean, I could. Teasing the titties so much. I feel like I liked that person post, but also right now, obviously, I can't find it. So that basically implies that I didn't like it, which is really sad. But there is this person, which I forgot the name, that has created once again a subscription tracker, and they are currently saying that they are #1 on the App Store, which is pretty impressive. And it's been a week being #1 in the App Store in the category, which is really impressive as well. So all that is really good. And the reason why they have this #1 spot and that amount of users and all that happening is because they have been sharing everything with the build in public hashtag on threads and on Twitter and other places to hype the build, and I hate doing that. Like it feels so wrong, but also um it's like to me it doesn't work. It's not something that I can do just because I'm not working on it every day. I'm working on other things. I can't really hype the content because I don't know what to say. So I think if you have the skills in marketing, you should be good into or in terms of app software building. But if you're not good, um, you know, yeah, yeah, I wish. I need a salesperson. I need a salesperson so that I understand how sales work entirely, because I do understand the surface, but not entirely the thing. Then I need to hire a marketing person to do the marketing and to work with the salesperson. And once I have these two working together and teaching me everything that they need, that they know and that I know and need to know, it would be fine. But I'm in this weird situation right now where I could hire someone for like 1 month and yeah, if I needed to pay them a salary. For a salesperson, I would say I tend to go with commission. So based on the thing that they are selling and the ticket that they are selling, they can take 20%. Um, like just giving you a portion off, not necessarily a salary. And so if you sell something, you get a portion, you get a commission. If you don't, you don't. And that's not something that I'm kind of willing to do just yet. I'm willing to pay you like a portion of what you make, but I'm not willing to say that because it's weird. Um, yeah, the base is going to be like $1. Won't do that. Um, yeah, or they know exactly what to do. Like the thing is, if a salesperson is selling my business side of things, as in I'm a designer and I do some things for a client, and they are selling my services, that could be a ticket of like 20K, 60K per client. So they don't need to do much. Like they can have like a commission of 25% of a 60K sale. I think they are pretty good with that. Um, but the option to them um to do that, like they there is so much things going on that needs to happen, and right now I don't have the the ability to um like I don't think that's true. I think that's true in the US, but I don't think that's true everywhere. um like again, like a good designer in the US is expecting six figure, if not more. I mean, you can't really do more, but like a good designer in the US might make 200K. A good designer in France might make 70K, maybe 80 at times. Like it really depends on where you are. And right now, if I go in Japan, I'm making seven figures, even eight. Um, like I'm making 14 million yen per year. And yeah, it doesn't mean anything though. So yeah, I mean, if you are that good and you're willing to take a risk, which most sales are not, um, and I can't afford 120, but you bring in 1 mil and you take half, like, I think that's like just proving your points. If you prove that you're good enough and I'm giving you 50% of the company basically by selling the thing, or 50% of the profit made, I feel like a pretty appealing thing to do. But you need to be good. And that's the thing that I right now I can't afford someone, but I need someone to be able to afford someone. So it's a bit of a loop. I need to keep the money that I currently have so that I can eat, and I can't hire someone. Um, yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, that's basically what I need to do. I tried to do that on Contra, and it didn't work. I tried to hire someone on Contra earlier last year for that specifically. But yeah, um, have a good rest of your day, Denny. Take care of yourself. Yeah, that's true. But I don't think a bad one would be a bad idea either. Like I don't. Yeah, I think anyone would be good, right? Any type of sales would be good. Like if they are commission based and only commission based, as in I don't have the funds to pay you right now, so if you sell something, you get like 25% or 50%. I don't care. It's the same thing as my affiliate links these days.
Ma!
Uh, like if you sell something for me, you get 50% of the sales, and currently the sales is $80, so you get 40. Cool, good. The thing is, you don't really need to get taxes on this. Yeah, it makes no sense as a sales for the design parts because it makes no sense. The salesperson doesn't really know what they need to sell. The salesperson for the app is not necessarily a good idea, but it's just creating the content or the marketing, yeah, marketing of the content that will then, God damn, I did that. It's a bad idea. Like to share the project, but yeah, um, I think universities would be a good idea or potential idea. Um, for the app specifically, it's students. The thing is, students don't have money. That happens. Um, companies that are hiring foreigners that needs to learn the language, why not? But also, if they hire foreigners, they probably don't or already have Japanese people in Japan. You know that they usually have Japanese people in Japan. Yes, that is true to help them learn. So yeah, it's a complicated thing. I think it's mostly like a marketing thing. I might need like a marketing person, but yeah. Um, Yeah. I mean, I need discoverability. So discoverability comes with marketing. So that's basically it. I agree. Agree. Just right now, unavailable. Yeah. Other things in the pipe that would help with the marketing, but it needs to go out of the pipe before it can be good. Um, yeah. Um, some people, which are like, there is one German person, think, I'm not sure, I think he's German, that decided to download the app and bought 4 dictionaries in almost on the first day. I basically decided to go in and book like four dictionaries, which is really good. That made me a spike on the first month, second month, first month. And because the app business model is not meant to be a paid app, it's made to be as free as possible so that you do most of the things and then you reach the limit of the free tier. The content that is added on top of that is paid. So it's mostly free. If you just want to use the free thing, you can. So yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, if it's local to where you are, the price is probably good. Yes, probably for no reason. Uh, I see. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I would need to see like a website or something to see if I can afford that, but also like it's eh. I would love to, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. Anything helps, you know. That's the thing. Specifically right now. You know, time zone, complexity. Like not most people are with your ability to not sleep. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm missing sales because I don't really know how to sell stuff. Which means that my design freelance things doesn't really work because I can't sell myself. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, like it's just, do you need design? Yes, cool. Done. Do you not need design? Cool. Done. I don't care. I so I did, yeah, I'm not pushing anything. And then on the app itself, it's just I'm I'm so free in terms of business model that everything needs to be free. When you need to learn a language, everything is already available on YouTube for free. I mean, people that are on YouTube are getting paid through ads, but that's about it. And I can't put ads on the app. Like that's not an option. So yeah, financially speaking, the app itself is already a thing called off money because it cost me $100 a year to just have it there. But if I'm making $17 a month, it's it's almost um good. Almost. Kinda. Uh per paying users, I think $3. The subscription is $7 a month in terms of where things are for most countries. I have like a ton of users that are like in Brazil and Argentina that have like the parity deal, which makes the subscription basically 70% off. So that's the thing. But yeah, I'm not making much, to be honest. Um, yeah, basically. So it would work for like Facebook ads, Twitter ads, things like this potentially. Uh, I just hate doing advertisements on social platforms, but that's basically what I do. So I know. Uh, I know. Let me see. Let me see. The Apple website is so slow. Um, Currently on that, like on that period, proceed by paying users is 6, and I have 2 on this activity. And if I go back on the lifetime, my average on paying users is $5. So that is then taken through the 25% off for my taxes, which right now it doesn't really count. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm probably getting like $3 to $4 per paying users. So not much, but like right now, I already since November, I basically am even with Apple's tax of the $90 per year. I made $90 for, and then it's just March. So if that continues and it remains the same, then I'm pretty good. Um, but yeah, like the conversion rate is really low now. We used to be at 40%, now we are 23. So that's one of the things that I need to kind of update, I'd say. Like mainly these bitch ass screens that look like shit. I need to change that. I need to change that. They're okay, but they're not good. Yeah, that needs to be worked on as well. So that's some sort of marketing thing that also needs to happen. And there is these people on Twitter that have um, like that do App Store screens, which I'm debating hiring because I don't know how much they charge. But yeah, I don't know. I know it's just that I don't know what to do on the design for the post themselves. That's the thing. It is an option, yes, 100%. But it's not something that I know how to do. Like I have never been able to. Um, oh, you mean me doing design for social media? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I hate it. I hate it for myself. I can't do it for someone else. This is one of the things that I can't do. Like really can't. I can't do a social media post for someone else. Can't do it for myself. Can't do it for someone else. That is not an option. Doing some influencer shit, as in a banner for a video or something like this, that could be an option. But yeah, Creative designer is really a wide range. Um, can mean anything. Also, I mean, creative designers is just being creative. That's simple, but also, eh. I don't know if it's worth it, but maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe. I'm trying to find the thing that I was talking about. Obviously, I can't. Talking about it. So. Why is it always the case? God damn. Hmm. Yep. They kind of disappeared from Twitter, which is kind of sad. Also, I have disappeared from Twitter, so I can't really find them all the time. I know I like their post. The thing is, it's not in there. It's probably like 6 months, no, 3 months from these posts, which, sorry for the flashes, to say that now. Like, this is last week. There's like, uh, if only I knew names, I'd be able to, but I don't know names, apparently. Huh. That's not. It's been longer than that. That's the issue. I could do that. That's true. That's true. Brain is speaking to me. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's not. That's not gonna be it. Um, I don't think I would be able to find them from here through there. Just because of how it's organized. But again, if they change the profile picture, I'm kind of fucked. It's not an option. Ah, they probably did, to be honest. Um, they probably did. You know what? I lied. These. uh, these people are doing screenshots and showcasing App Store screenshots overall, and they are doing things pretty well. Some of them I'm not really a big fan of, but some of them are really good in terms of, like, Amy, for example, has a really, really good output, which is more aligned with what I have. I kind of tried to use some of their examples here as inspiration for what I've created, but I don't know why I can't. I mean, I do know why, but I don't really know why I can't really create thing that makes that much sense to me. So I was um debating sending them a DM just to check. Yeah, we know where they are, how much they charge, all that. We'll see. Maybe one day I will send them a DM. It would be better though to have someone else work on this. I guess this is the same issue for me. It's just I need someone to work on the thing that I can't do or don't want to do. And the thumbnails, not thumbnails, but like the ISO or the App Store screenshot. That is the type of thing that I don't want. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to me. So, you know, nah. We'll see. I will figure it out at some point. It will be fine. It won't be a thing. It'll be an okay thing. I have that open. I have the DM open, but I can send that later if I think about it. Have a good rest of your time zone. And also, I'm just seeing, by the way, that Google Play Store and Apple Store are changing their taxes for specific countries. So some countries are gonna take more tax than others. I'm not gonna make $6 a month. Not anymore. Not anymore. God damn. It's gonna be fine. It is going to be fine. Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. Anyways, I am tired. That happens. Who is live that I know? That's thing. Vash is live. Maya's live. Tony, in a where you at right now? Which platform is you're looking at? God damn it! For once, he's in only one stream. That makes no sense. Ah. I'm so tired now. I mean, noun codes is there. Maya is there. I don't know who else. That's the question. That is the question. Good. Go there. Let's go there. If I can. Type. I can type. Cool. I press the button. Oh, god damn, I'm tired. As always, thanks a lot for being here. I highly appreciate it. The VOD is going to be on YouTube because that's easier for safekeeping. If you have questions and I'm not live, that happens sometimes. You can join the Discord. Discord is really good. If you want to give me money, you can join the Patreon. If you want to see things that you haven't seen yet, I'm hinting at stuff. I shall be back on Wednesday if all goes well, and you can stalk me online. As always, I said a lot of things today. If you want to learn Japanese, Japan is the best way that I know because that's what I've built. And if you want to give me money, you can sub here, but you can also buy a UI kit or become an affiliate and sell the UI kit for me, and you make 50%. And that's gonna be the end screen. You're gonna see my ass dangling from the bar. Bye.